Jack, welcome back. It's been a while since you've had a chance to compete. So what's the emotion, the excitement, the energy like for you right now?
It feels great to be back. I've been really longing forward to get back into the octagon. It's been over a year now, and yeah, I can't wait.
And they bring you back over a year and in a main event. I mean, we've had several of them. Does it still special? Does it still feel like a big deal, or is it just like, hey, this is my career?
Yeah, it kind of feels like normal now, but I still appreciate it. That's where you want to be at, right? At the main event, with all eyes on you, carrying up the card. Really happy to be in that position.
Very nice. All right, talk about what the last year was like for you, right? I mean, a lot of different circumstances kept you out of competing. Was it a difficult year for you? Was it, were you kind of relieved to have some time off? What was it like for you?
No, definitely not relieved. I felt like, a year off in this part of my career now is a very long time. So I was not happy about that, but yeah, I just needed it because leading up to my fight with Brandon Allen in June last year, I injured my back and I wasn't able to train. So I really didn't have a choice but to step off a bit and do some rehabilitation and slowly get back into MMA training. But now I feel in really good shape and yeah, ready to get back into business.
Nice. I was going to ask you what the recovery was like. Just rehab only, no surgery, anything like that? And was it hard for you to go slow, listen to what they say, do it the right way?
Yeah, it wasn't hard after the fight. It was hard before because I never pulled from a fight before, so it was extremely hard to take the decision. But when I did it, I knew that I was going to do it perfectly, and it was no surgery, just rehab. But it was like 3 months without MMA training, and I haven't done that since I started with this sport. So that was definitely something new, but I was very disciplined, and I still stayed in the gym, watching the guys, coaching every single day, stayed in the sport with the MMA in my mind. So yeah, never a day off.
Nice. It's been a very wild year in the division for you as well. So I'm just curious, I mean, was it hard for you to not be in the midst of all these talks, or did you not want to watch anything as it was all unfolding? What was that like for you?
No, it was exciting to see everything unfold and the belts switching places and stuff like that. So exciting times, and it's fun to see that some things are switching up in the division.
Yeah, very cool. New look. All right, so you get this main event. It's the new guy in the division, right? I guess, what did you think when they said, hey, here's Joe Pyfer? What were your thoughts on that?
I was presented with a main event at the same time, so that was the most important part for me. Coming off a loss, I think that was a good opportunity, even though it was against a guy that's unranked and up and coming. And I see Joe as a great opponent and a big threat, and I think he can do good things in the sport. It's just not going to happen on Saturday.
I like it. Is it a weird position for you because you've been around so long now, right? Like, you were the guy climbing the ranks, right? Now you're the guy that's been around, and here's the next generation trying to take you out. Is that weird for you to be in that position?
It's a little bit weird. It goes so quickly, It feels like yesterday when it was I got the shot on a couple of weeks' notice against Jacare. It was my big shot to step up into, But now it's his turn, and I feel like it doesn't bother me a lot. I just need to show everybody that I belong here and this is my spot. And after I beat Joe, I can continue to climb upwards again.
A lot of people are talking about Joe, right? He's on this momentum, but I don't know. I mean, you're still number 11 in the division, even after a year away. Do you think it's important to remind people, hey, I'm still here?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's you see that sometimes when they're, a young up-and-comer is coming up with a lot of hype, and they think, that the old dog is going to be beaten. But I assure you that that's not going to happen this time.
I love it. Last thing for me, like I said, a big win here. It's early in the year. You lost a year. I guess, have you started to make plans, what you want to accomplish this year? Or do you just take this fight and let's see how we feel? What's the plan?
Yeah. This fight is the most important thing in my mind at the moment, and I don't have any big plans forward, but I would like to stay active, get a few more fights in, and if I beat Joe, I would love to, be able to climb up again. And I think that after Imavov's fight last weekend, that might be a good opponent if I beat Joe.
Hey, Jack, I was just wondering, what were the lessons that you learned from that Roman Dolidze fight?
It was I think I did well in that fight, but there was one mistake, small mistake, that had a big outcome. And when he attacked my leg and went for the calf slicer, it's pretty easy to defend. You just stretch your leg out and kick out the leg. But I was a little bit over eager to keep the top position in the fight, and that was a big mistake of me. So if I just would have done as I do in training, I would have gotten out of there and probably secured the win because I was leading the fight up until that point. But what I learned from it is that, don't be too greedy in there. If you are feeling a threat, respect it, get out of it, restart, and gain a new momentum in the fight. So that's something that I'm bringing with me.
And you were in the stands for last week's main event. What do you think of it?
It wasn't the prettiest fight that I've seen, but I kind of like, I like different styles of fight, and that was one of those were just like gritty. They just, you could see that they were tired, and it was just like about who wants it the most almost. And so I enjoyed that fight, and it was kind of exciting, even though it wasn't very beautiful to watch.
And there's a new champion in your division. I just wanted to know, who did you have winning between Duplessis and Strickland?
I think that was one of those fights that was so close that I almost need a pen and paper, doing notes during the fight to be able to pick a winner. So after the fight, I felt like it could go either way.
What do you think of Duplessis as a champion?
He's a good fighter. He's also one of those guys that people tend to underestimate because maybe it doesn't look perfect. Everything he does, he sprints in there. It looks a little bit reckless, but he's effective, and that's what matters the most in this sport.
Thank you.
Man, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Is there anything you could share with us while you had that time off, whether it was forcefully or by choice, that you said, you know what, I'm glad I got to heal this up. I'm glad I got to see family. I got to study a little bit. Anything you got to enjoy. I know you wanted to get back in here, of course, but it was still the time away, and sometimes fighters just need that to kind of reset.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people probably would have used that time to, for recreation and stuff like that. But that was never on my mind. I stayed super disciplined, and I was in the gym every single day and just living the same lifestyle as I always do. I didn't take any time off to do anything else, basically, than to stay in the gym and stay in training. Even though I couldn't do MMA training, I did a lot of other stuff. So, it wasn't. It didn't give me anything else. I feel maybe a few other things in my body got to heal up as well because of the rest. And I was able to train some strength training. I got pretty strong there for a while, but you kind of almost start to lose all of that strength and mass when you get back into that high intensity cardio training with MMA. So I don't know if that matters too much either. So yeah, it was just I just continued my grind just in another way.
It definitely matters, and I respect that grind. Are you bringing anything new to the table? You've done main events before. You've been on the poster. You fought in Las Vegas, kind of like almost home field advantage. But what new things are you going to show us on Saturday?
Yeah, so I feel like every time I get a new opponent, I kind of I game plan a lot, and I learn a lot from the training camp because I always like to adapt my styles and to what I'm going to do in my fights. So I definitely learned a lot of new stuff and I worked on a lot of new stuff. I don't want to be too specific about it, but it comes down to details in the fighting game that you work on every single day to prepare for Joe. So I didn't work on any general stuff, but more specific stuff towards my opponent, and I think that definitely has developed me as a fighter.
That's excellent. Can't wait to see it. And in January, we saw that belt be defended by Sean, and then it went to dry because you talked about it with John. It was going from different people. We had the Anderson Silva era, and then Adesanya era. Now it looks like we're looking for that next era. How good does it feel, and how do you make that point to everybody? Like, hey, don't forget about me. I'm right there. I'm in the mix.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be harder and harder in this sport to see a champ that's going to reign for a long time, because I feel like the level is so high and the unpredictability of the sport is so high as well. So I think we're going to see a lot of switches in with the belts, and it's going to be hard to keep it for many years as previous champions has done. But and what was the second question again? Was
Just how do you, because you mentioned you kept, training, you kept an eye on things. How do you make people notice? Because it's back-to-back fight nights with 185-pound division being the main event. People are looking, they're paying attention. How do you make them really take notice and say, hey, I'm the guy to look at. I'm watch out for me.
Yeah, so people basically doesn't care what you do in the gym and your journey there. They care about the fights. So my opportunity to show everybody that I'm here to stay and I'm here to work my way upwards is to have a great performance against Joe. So that's everything that matters.
Excellent. Can't wait to see it, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you, guys.